Welcome to the BBK Performance Quick Wrench Installation Series. In this video, a BBK R&D technician will show you how to add even more horsepower, torque, and throttle response to an already incredible S550 Mustang GT in just a few minutes using basic hand tools by installing a BBK cold air induction system. Available in chrome as part number 1847 or black as part number 18475. As with all BBK Performance parts, no tune is required and everything you need for installation is supplied. For this installation, you'll need a T20 Torx, pliers, a ratchet with extension, an 8 and 10 millimeter socket. Before we begin, be sure to place your car in park or neutral and set the parking brake. Disconnect the negative battery terminal using a 10 millimeter socket. Remove the decorative intake manifold cover by lifting it straight up. Disconnect the vacuum hoses that attach to the intake tube. Use pliers to squeeze open the metal clamp for the sound tube while pulling away. Then simply push in on the release clips of the smaller tubes while gently pulling them away from the intake tube. Use a 8mm socket or a flathead screwdriver to loosen the two clamps on the intake tube. Then remove the intake tube from the car. Unplug the electrical connector from the mass air sensor by gently sliding the red locking clip back, then squeezing the release tab on the connector while pulling on the plug itself. Remember, never pull on the wires. Release the wiring harness from the airbox by gently working the plastic tree plug out of its mounting hole. Remove the 10mm bolt that holds down the airbox. Then lift the airbox out of the car and set it aside. Carefully pry up the center sections of the push pins that hold down the radiator shroud. Once the centers are pulled up, the pins can be extracted. Lift and remove the radiator shroud from the car. Using a 10mm socket, unbolt and remove the driver's side radiator hold down plate, while guiding the loop in the front of the shield over the radiator stud. Drop the BBK filter shield into place on the driver's side fender apron. Tighten the BBK filter shield using the original airbox hold down bolt. Place the supplied straight coupler over the outlet of the BBK air filter. Reinstall the radiator hold down plate. Route the mass air sensor harness through the grommet in the filter shield. Install the BBK air filter while guiding the coupler through the hole in the filter shield. Then slip the hose clamps over the coupler. If you're also installing a BBK throttle body, which is available in 85mm as part number 1806 or 90mm as part number 1807, go ahead and do that now. Place two hose clamps over the curved coupler and install the coupler onto the throttle body with the vacuum nipple pointing toward the passenger side of the vehicle. Assemble the supplied vacuum tree by slipping two hose clamps over the coupling hose, then placing the coupling hose over the short end of the tree and the supplied vacuum cap onto the small open end of the tree as shown. Install the assembled vacuum tree by snapping the connectors of the corresponding hoses onto the hose barbs in the tree. Then use pliers to spread the clamp on the sound tube before slipping it over the tree. Again, if you're installing a BBK throttle body, go ahead and do that now. Use a T20 Torx tool to unbolt and remove the mass air sensor from the airbox. And carefully install it into the BBK inlet tube using the supplied hardware. The element in the sensor is fairly sensitive, so it's imperative that you do not poke or touch it with anything and never clean it with anything that leaves a residue. Now install the BBK inlet tube by slipping both ends of it into the couplers on the airbox and throttle body. Then tighten all of the hose clamps on the couplers and vacuum tree. Note that the clamps only need to be snugged down to create a seal and should not be cranked down so tight that the couplers start to deform. Plug the mass air sensor and slide the red locking clip into place. Snap the supplied aluminum nipple into the vacuum hose on the passenger side of the throttle body. Then insert the nipple into the open port on the throttle body coupler. Reinstall the radiator shroud and secure it with the push pins. Then reinstall the decorative intake manifold cover and then reconnect the negative battery terminal. After installing a new BBK cold air induction system, It is important to allow your engine control computer to relearn its idle and fuel trim strategies. To do this, start the engine and let it idle until it reaches normal operating temperature. This should take approximately 5 to 7 minutes. Turn on the air conditioner and allow the engine to idle for another full minute. Finally, drive the vehicle as normal to complete the process. It may take approximately 10 miles of driving for the computer to completely relearn the strategies. For more information on this and hundreds of other BBK Performance products for late model muscle cars and trucks, check out bbkperformance.com or stop by one of our 2 outlet store locations in Southern California or Central Florida. Thanks for watching.